Hi everybody, John here again. I'm going to try and do a bit of a response video to Richard McCook's last two videos he's had. One where he showed 10 records with songs over 10 minutes, and the next one that he did, which was 22 songs that were under 2 minutes. So I'm going to start with the 10 minutes thing, see if I can squeeze both of these things into one video. So yeah, Richard qualified what he was doing by saying that he listens mainly to pop music, or at least songs that are most likely going to be of shorter length, and so I suppose it's a bit of a challenge for him. Now fortunately I listen to a lot of progressive rock, and to be honest with you, sometimes it can be hard to find a record by a progressive rock artist that doesn't have songs over 10 minutes. But I'm going to show a few first of all that aren't prog, just because I thought, well, that might be more interesting. So this is Canned Heat, it's a compilation, best of Canned Heat, and there's a track on here, I think it's on their second album, called Fried Hockey Boogie, and this comes in at 11 minutes and 4 seconds. The next one I'm going to show is this record. This is by Rare Earth, and the track on here, I haven't got it in front of me how long this is, but it's a track called Ma, which is sort of a big track for them. This is one of my favourites. So here we've got Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland. There's a song on here called Voodoo Child, and it's the sort of what do you call it, like the live performance in the studio. So it's not a live track, it's just recorded live for that atmosphere, I think, in the studio. Anyway, so that's quite long. And so then we've got At War with Satan by Venom, and there's a very long track on here called, I believe, At War with Satan, and this is how long it is. Okay, so the rest of these are kind of proggy. Silent Cries and Mighty Echoes. There's a song in here called The Vision, Burning. They're a German, sort of a German prog band, and that's on Hardest. Then we've got Renaissance, first track on here called Can You Hear Me? That comes in at 13 minutes and 39 seconds. This is it's kind of a bit of a, what would you say, sort of a popular underground song, I think. It's a song called Grendel, by Marillion. I think it's probably their longest track, or at least it was when they did it. And there's funny stories you hear of people that when they first heard it being played, they automatically felt, oh, it's Genesis, because they say that it's based on or ripped off from Supper's Ready by Genesis. I wouldn't like to comment, but as you know, that's a very long song, and so is this song called Grendel. Great track. It Bites, one of my favourite albums, one of my favourite tracks, a track called Once Around the World. I believe that comes in at 14 minutes and 46 seconds. Really good song, well worth checking out. Then we got Led Zeppelin, House of the Holy, and the track In My Time of Dying. What can I say about that track? It's masterful, it's just fantastic. you're really kind of get in the zone with that song. So yeah, In My Time of Dying. And then we got Palace. It's a British near progressive group. Quite a nice cover, that. There's a song on here. That's on Hardest. There's a song on here called Rise and Fall, which comes in at 10 minutes 17 seconds. And last of all is this album by Flash. Flash is a band that was sort of put together by the original guitarist in Yes, before Steve Howe came along. So there's Peter Banks there, you can see. And as you'd imagine, a lot of people sort of feel that they sound very much like Yes. Or they say that this is what Yes would have sounded like if Peter Kay hadn't been tossed aside. Or Peter Banks, sorry. Anyway, so the long track on here is... Well, there's quite a few on here. Let's see. Yeah, wow. On side 2 alone, there's 3 tracks that are more than 10 minutes. On side 1, the very first track is 10 minutes and 5 seconds, called A Lifetime. Good song if you like that kind of thing, and I do, so that's quite good. Right, so I'm just going to gather myself up now and continue on with 22 in less than 2 minutes. Okay, here we go. I'll see if I can shoot through this quite quickly. So first of all, we've got the Undertones. Song on here called Boys Will Be Boys. Then we've got album London Callings, a track on here called Coca-Cola. The Damned. The song on here, which I believe is the shortlist, is a track called Stab Your Back. Well, I could be wrong. Never mind the bollocks, here's my copy. So the song on this, shorter than 2 minutes, is 17. Can't remember, but I do know that there was a track on here that is shorter than these, well, perhaps 2 minutes even. Right, Dead Kennedys. Very quick and fast. There's a few tracks on here that have got songs for less than 2 minutes. And to be honest with you, I think Forward of Death, for instance, that's quite a short track. Right, Napalm Death. On their first album, they've got sort of songs that are, you know, less than half a minute long or something ridiculous like that. But this, is it their second or their third album? They've got one track on here that is pretty short. I can't remember what it was called now, but it sounds a bit like this. Not really my thing, but hey, it's under 2 minutes. Right, Slayer. Fantastic album. Absolutely brilliant. If you hadn't heard this, you know, I think heavy metal, this is as heavy as it goes and still remains good, in my personal opinion. Once you start getting into the realms of this, and it loses its charm for me. So the track on here, I believe, which is 2 minutes or under, is Necrophobic, I believe. Okay, Madness. There's a song on here called Benny Bullfrog, which is pretty short. There you go. Tin Machine. There's a track on here called Bus Stop, which is under 2 minutes. Great track that is. Song on here called Happy Trails. So this is Diver Down by Van Halen. Really good album. And there's a track called Happy Trails. Very short and similar kind of vein. There's a song on here, which is the White Snake album. This is sort of greatest hits, but this is the album Love Hunter. There's a track at the end there called We Wish You Well, which is very short. So, Unicorn by Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's a number on here that are very, very short songs. I mean, there's a lot of tracks on the record, so you can see roughly how short they're going to be. And they're very sort of, what should we say, kind of hippie, trippy kind of stuff. I can't, I don't know which one I'm going to call out from this, but I'll write it here. Okay, so Heart, Dreamboat Annie, it's their first album. And the track on here is a track called Dreamboat Annie. It's basically the theme of the album, and this song sort of resurfaces 3 times throughout the record. It's the first one, which I believe is the shortest and under 2 minutes. Really beautiful record. Whenever I hold this one up and talk about it on the VC, I have to say that put this on a C90 back to back with Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. I mean, they complement each other really well. Such a great record. Small Faces, One Night Stand. There's a track on here called One Night Stand. Fleetwood Mac, Hellhound on My Trail. That comes in exactly at 2 minutes. Loving Spoonful, Did You Ever Have to Make Up Your Mind? There's a track on here. Most of their songs are pretty short, but I think that's the shortest on this one. It's a compilation. Did You Ever Have to Make Up Your Mind? Donovan. So this is Catch the Wind album. Great record. And there is a song on here called Tangerine Puppet. There's also a track on here called Car Car, which is quite nice. But Tangerine Puppet is shorter than that, at 150. And then we got the Beatles. First album. There was a track on here, I can't remember which one it was now. I think Do You Want to Know a Secret comes in at under 2 minutes. Otherwise it might be Please Please Me. I know, Richard, you had this rule about it not being a single. I might have broken that rule a few times, I'm not sure. Right, so here, surprisingly, there's a couple of progressive rock albums, which are normally sort of renowned for their long songs. But I spied a few tracks on here that were short. There's one called Farewell Number 1, which comes in at 1 minute and 37 seconds. I'll do a needle drop of that. Yeah, so I noticed while I was doing this that a few of the ones that I included in this particular list were singles or live tracks, so I kind of discounted them. So here I'm here to sort of make up the numbers. So 4 other songs that are less than 2 minutes. There's a track on this album called Click Click. It's the last song on side 1. It's very short. Then we have the 59th Street Bridge song Feeling Groovy by Simon & Garfunkel. It's the last song on side 1 too. Then there's the very first song on this record by the Waterboys. It's called In Search of a Rose. Very nice little sort of ditty. And then I'm going to use a track on this album. This is a compilation album with sort of B-sides and rare songs by Fairground Attraction. One of the B-sides they did, I think, is a song called Mystery Train, which is sort of an old blues sort of standard. Yeah, performed, I believe, by Elvis Presley. Anyway, Fairground Attraction do a copy of this, and it goes into 1 minute 40 seconds. Thank thanks very much for watching. It's quite a fun thing to flip through my records and sort of do this, so I recommend having a go if you can. Thanks very much for watching, Richard. Check out my next video. Bye.